Welcome. Let's talk about power. In the next few minutes, we're going to completely reframe how you think about it and give you some real, actionable insights.
Here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with why control is an illusion, then get super clear on the difference between power and leverage. We'll look at the 3 types of leverage, see how underdogs can totally win, and then, most importantly, figure out how to apply all of this to our own lives.
So, let's just kick things off with a big question to get you thinking. When two sides are in a conflict, who actually has the upper hand? Is it the one with the most money, the biggest army, the loudest voice? Or is it someone else entirely?
To get to the bottom of that, we have to start with the heart of any conflict. This constant struggle for influence and what is often just an illusion of being in control.
You know, when you boil it all down, that's what every disagreement is about, right? Whether it's 2 countries at a negotiating table or 2 colleagues debating a project, it's a contest. It's about who gets to shape what happens next.
And this is the kicker, the idea that any one person or group can have absolute control, it's almost always a fantasy. What's so fascinating is that the side that looks the most powerful isn't always the one in the driver's seat, not by a long shot.
And that brings us to a really, really critical distinction. We throw these 2 words around all the time, but they are not the same thing. Power versus leverage. Understanding this difference is a total game changer.
So here's the breakdown. Power is your overall potential. It's your resources, your title, your reputation. It's what you have in the bank. But leverage is your advantage right now in this specific situation, in this specific negotiation. It's tactical.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The billionaire has almost infinite power in the world. But right there, in that desert with no water, the person holding the canteen has 100% of the leverage. Power means nothing without it.
And this is why leverage is so fascinating. It's not a fixed thing. It's constantly shifting, like sand. It all comes down to a psychological game of who thinks they have more to lose if they walk away. The person who needs the deal less often has the real power in the room.
Okay, so if leverage is this situational advantage, how do you actually get more of it? Well, it turns out there are really 3 main ways to create it. 3 strategic tools you can use. Yeah, think of it like a toolkit. You've got positive leverage, that's your ability to give someone what they want. You've got negative leverage, your ability to, make things painful for them. And then you have this third one, normative leverage, which is way more subtle and honestly, way more powerful.
Let's just quickly break that down. Positive is the carrot. Work with me and you'll get this good thing. Negative is the stick. Don't work with me and this bad thing will happen. But normative leverage, that's where the real art is. It's about using your opponent's own beliefs, their own rules, their own values against them. It's making them live up to their own standards.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but let's see how it works in the real world. I've got a fantastic, true story for you. A real David versus Goliath situation where the underdog completely flipped the script.
Picture this. It's 1985. France, a massive nuclear power, sends secret agents to New Zealand and literally sinks a Greenpeace ship to stop them from protesting nuclear tests. I mean, on paper, tiny New Zealand has 0 chance against France, but they caught the agents, and suddenly that gave them a little bit of leverage.
And what they did next was straight out of Sun Tzu's playbook. New Zealand played its hand perfectly. They used that normative leverage we talked about, taking France to international court and painting them as a state-sponsored terrorist. The whole world was watching, and France's reputation was on the line. At the same time, they had positive leverage, the captured French spies that France was desperate to get back. Top FBI negotiators call this kind of thing tactical empathy. It's about getting so deep inside your counterpart's head that you understand what they value, what they fear. That's exactly what New Zealand did. They knew France cared deeply about its global standing and its agents, so they applied pressure right on those 2 points. It was a masterclass in strategy. So what happened? In the end, this global superpower was forced to issue a formal public apology and pay millions in damages to a country a fraction of its size. It's just a perfect, undeniable example that raw power isn't what decides who wins. Strategic leverage does.
Okay, so that's a fascinating piece of history. But how do we bring this home? How does this apply to leading a team, running a business, or even just navigating our own life?
Well, it really boils down to 3 things. First, you have to make sure everyone knows their role and responsibilities. That clarity prevents so much unnecessary conflict. Second, you have to actually pay attention to the subtle power dynamics playing out around you.
And third, and this is the big one, you have to get comfortable with your own power, using it with restraint and leaning into the idea that you're all in it together.
This just nails it. The best leaders aren't focused on protecting their own role or their own authority. They're focused on the mission. They understand that real, lasting strength comes from the team as a whole, not from one person at the top. Their success is completely intertwined with everyone else's.
And that brings us to our final and I think most crucial takeaway. It's a mindset, a kind of philosophy that can completely transform how you see your own influence in the world.
This is what we call your unbreakable tone. It's this deep-seated understanding that your real power doesn't come from a fragile grip on control. It comes from the connections you build, the trust you earn, the influence you cultivate. It's a quiet confidence that isn't rattled by setbacks because it's built on a foundation of mutual trust and reliance.
So, I'll leave you with a question to really think about this week. If control is just an illusion, what is one relationship at work, at home, wherever, that you could intentionally strengthen to increase your true influence? Think about it. Thanks for joining me.